Okay, so part two of this basic self-help idea, just kind of loosening up the tight bits that most of us have. Part one, we kind of covered the foam roller and some basic uses. So ideally, foam roller first, and then some stretching. So the foam roller, 10 to 20 minutes tops. Get off. Stretching should be about 10 to 20 minutes as well. You can spend more time stretching though. So the kneeling hip flexor stretch, we haven't covered this one enough times, but this is such a critical stretch. And it's done so incorrectly. My foot's going to be on the floor. I have my toes tucked under. They could be flat. You could have your foot up against a wall or on a couch to increase the stretch. Don't worry about that yet. Right now, worry about this. So right now, my hips are kind of cocked back. I'm going to squeeze the glute and straighten those hips out. So this is why I like these Adidas pants. You can see what just happened here. Pelvis is rolled forward. Pelvis is now pushed up and under my torso. So tailbone's tucked under. My low belly squeezing tight, my glutes squeezing hard. What's happening is the stretch in the front hip. This is how we get it. We don't get it by leaning in. We get it by rotating the pelvis up and under the body, by squeezing the glute and tightening the belly. That makes the stretch happen, right? So, same side, I'm going to bring that arm straight up. And I'm going to breathe. In through the nose, fill the belly, exhale, and squeeze tighter in that butt cheek there. So really keep popping that through, increase the stretch. Big breath in. I'm going to start to lean across the body. Okay? So I'm going to turn so you can see what I'm doing. I'm not falling. Right? So right now straight, big breath in, exhale, and I'm going to start to lean across the body. Now, what I want you to think about is trying to reach the ceiling. So reach, but on the other side of the room. I'm not trying to bend all the way over. I just want to get a big stretch. Now, you're probably not squeezing your glute anymore. Squeeze that glute real tight. Big breath in. Reach. Now, from there, we can gently. Right? So right now, I'm pretty much squared up, hips and shoulders. Butt squeezed real tight. I'm going to roll this shoulder back just a little bit. Keep squeezing that glute cheek. Feel the stretch change. I'm going to roll it gently the other way. I call this closing, I call that opening. Still squeezing that glute and feeling the stretch move through the front hip. Do that, hold it for a minute, two, and repeat on the opposite side, right? Again, the key to the stretch, squeeze that butt cheek, that glute cheek, get the hips to roll under your body, tighten it all down, keep it tight, reach up and across and over, keep squeezing that glute, try opening gently, try closing gently, nothing crazy there, just squeeze that glute, right? So that's the kneeling hip flexor stretch. Figure four, for a lot of people, there's a little muscle in the hip that gets very tight and cranky and can cause a lot of stress, if you will, on your SI joint. The muscle piriformis runs from the top of your thigh bone over toward your SI, right? And it kind of works this way. It likes to help the glutes. It likes to take over for the glutes. When it gets cranky, you will sometimes have that sciatic tingle run down. So this is one of the sure cures for the sciatic thing. But if you've got a tight back, tight hips, this is a good stretch for you too. It's the figure four stretch. So I've got one leg ankle crossed over the thigh. I'm going to reach through the triangle created in front of me. I'm going to grab the back of the thigh, other hand under and around, and then from here you're just going to lay back and pull your shoulders back to the floor. The idea being that we want to try and pull this leg all the way to the chest. So, if you're familiar with yoga and you think about it, this is sort of a variation on the pigeon where the core isn't loaded at all because you're on your back. So you're going to pull. You can straighten the leg if you like, but The idea is more about getting this leg, ankle to shoulder, knee to shoulder, something along those lines. I've seen it done, so I know it can be. So again, ankle over the thigh. You're going to grab the back of that thigh with both hands, and you're going to pull back. If you're having trouble, get a towel or a strap, right? Pull through, and the same thing, okay? You're going to feel that stretch when you're doing it. You're going to actually feel it in the cheek of the knee that's bent, right? So as you're pulling back here, you're going to feel this all through this hip, okay? So that's the figure 4 stretch. Now, close cousin, although it really starts to tie in the shoulders a little bit more, love this stretch. It's a twist and hold. I'm going to start one leg flat on the floor. If you're really tight, what you're going to do is you're going to take the other leg, bend the knee, and pull a foot up as high into your groin as you can. You want to get it, closer to you than your knee. You want to get it past your knee. I'm going to take the opposite arm. I'm going to wrap it around. So let's keep this all in perspective. Wrap it around that bent knee, right around the shin, right? And I'm going to hug in. And as I hug in, I'm going to pull myself tall. I'm going to take the free hand. I'm going to move around again here. I'm going to take the free hand. So I'm hugging. This guy's coming back behind me. Not back here under my shoulder. And I'm going to push it straight into the floor. So my palms flat into the floor. I'm going to straighten the tricep and drive that shoulder down as I pull into that knee. And then look over that shoulder. So if you're having trouble with this and the video is reversed, right now, my left leg is flat on the floor. My right leg is bent all the way up, foot just inside my thigh. My left arm is wrapping around my right shin. My right arm is behind me, pressing down into the floor just behind my hip. And when you get here, big breath in, exhale. Now, if your belly is in the way, move it. Pick it up and move it. It's okay. Just slide it over, get around it, and exhale into that stretch some more. You might find you can walk this hand even further behind you and get deeper, 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 deeper into that stretch. Okay? Now, that being the basic version, intermediate, if you will. So, if that was too easy, this foot now comes over the leg. So I'm crossing it. So now my right leg is flat on the floor. My left is across my right thigh. My knee is here, so my foot is closer to my hip than the knee, right? So it's moving back here. Same thing. I'm going to wrap now my right arm with the opposite arm around that knee. So I'm pulling myself into the knee, right? So my ribs are up against the knee, and I'm going to hug tight. I'm just going to pull myself tall. My left arm is going to reach behind me, and I'm not reaching back towards the wall. I'm trying to stay straight under my shoulder and press that hand straight into the floor, lock the tricep, and that's going to push the shoulder back and pull tighter into this knee. Big breath, and keep rotating into the stretch. How long should we hold this one? Longer than you think. Minimally, after you get into the stretch, right? You're going to have a little trouble breathing, right? Move your belly out of the way if you have to, whatever. Get comfortable in that stretch. Big breath in. If things calm down from there, do 8 more of those breaths. Big into the nose, into the belly. And tighten the stretch. Pull into it. Adjust as necessary. We won't get into the advanced version of that because you're probably not ready for it. But work on that. Sits bones need to stay on the floor regardless of the version you're in. So the last one is really kind of a rest position, but it's also handy today for all of us desk jockeys and people who have to write emails and respond to text messages and do Instagram posts and that kind of thing. Yoga has a pose called the Sphinx. And you essentially would lay flat on the floor, tops of the feet on the floor, elbows under your shoulders, and palms flat on the floor, open wide, and you'd be like so. So you can see why it would be called Sphinx. Right? Now, This was the only acceptable rest position during any of the RKC, Russian Kettlebell Challenge schools. This was it. You couldn't sit with your back flexed. You had to be extended. Now, cell phone. I can do posts. I can edit. I can write. I can check emails. Laptop. I can have the monitor right here in front of me. You know, just be careful you don't slump, right? Pay attention to that. Stay mindful. But, you know, here. Now, what you're going to feel initially, first couple of minutes, it's going to feel real tight in your lumbar region. 2-3 minutes, you're going to notice it's not really feeling that tight anymore. And you might be able to push up a little bit higher. And breathe. And you're still working. You could be reading a book. I'm gently rocking my hips, keep things loose. 10 minutes of this, your low back's going to feel like heaven. So advances from there, right, would be to push into, I think this is, it's not upward dog. Upward dog, the toes are pressing through the floor. Upward dog, you'd actually be up here, so legs off the floor, glutes squeeze. But with the thighs on the floor, I can't remember what that one's called, but you're pushing down and you're looking up and rolling the shoulders back. Keep the collarbones open, right? So pulling way back. You know? So those are just a few really good stretches to loosen up a lot of what is bothering folks. We'll expand upon that down the road as more people complain about different issues. So stretch more. You know you need to do it. Just get it done. You know, just 10 minutes, a couple of times a day. A little bit of this, a little bit of that. Peace.